Life is noisy. People yelling, notifications buzzing, storms raging on, even your own mind won't be quiet. Everyone and everything seems to want your attention, yet you wish you didn't give it when you do. So, how do we find peace inside all of this chaos? There is an anime that whispers that very answer. It doesn't do it with bombastic flair. It does it quietly, without ever raising its voice, called Mushishi. It's an anime where you only need to watch a handful of episodes to capture its tone and take the timeless lessons it brings forward. It cryptically teaches deeply human truths that can cause you to reflect on anything you may be going through. It certainly did for me. For 4 years, I've been a high school soccer referee, and every single game I viewed as a battle. When I stepped onto that field, I treated it like I was stepping into a war. I braced myself for insults, people trying to rattle me, or even physically assault me. No matter if the game was easygoing or ugly, I treated it the same, and I held it in my mind for literal years after. I was a character in my very own episode of Mushishi. Everyone gets swept up in the storms inside our minds, feeding into the fear and panic we generate ourselves. But this year, at my very first game, something changed. Not in the game of soccer, but something deep within me. It was the loudest game I have ever been a part of. Students yelled after every bit of action, parents screamed in anger when their child lost the ball, players challenged every call I made, regardless of how obvious it was. All I could hear was my own whistle and a bed of chaos behind me. But then, I only heard one thing. Crickets. The crickets in the woods next to the field chirping away. I said to myself, where have you been every game? But the answer was obvious. They have always been there. I just never listened. At that moment, I paused, and I felt the cold breeze on my sweaty face. I looked up to the sky and saw the sun setting into a sea of orange and purple. The game continued. The energy of that stadium never stopped. Nothing changed, except me. In that moment, I let go of 4 years of bracing for war and carrying the scars of made-up battles within me. I let go and heard my own mushi, the crickets. Mushishi is that pause in the storm. It doesn't ask you to drop everything and live as a hermit in quiet solitude. It challenges you to notice the little things in life's messy storms. The main character, Ginkgo, is not a warrior or an arbiter, but an observer. He travels watching how the humans of the world interact with mushi. Mushi are not animals or demons, but life in the most basic form. They are unseen forces that shape the world. They are not good or bad, they just exist. They are around everyone, yet only a few people actually notice them, and it often changes their lives. Each of their stories doesn't say much, yet it speaks volumes. An episode follows a son of a sake maker desperately trying to replicate golden sake his father shared with the mushi. He ignores his father's words to listen to what the sake has to say. He doesn't understand that beauty cannot be forced. Life only responds when we listen. How many of us chase the golden version of ourselves and miss that life is already glowing in front of us? I chased the perfect game to referee. I chased the vanity and noise of content creation. I chased the impossible task of being a perfect father. Each one bit me harder the more I tried to force it. Much like the sake maker's son, when we open up to the world and flow with it, we end up finding peace in the journey rather than the impossible gold standard. It's that journey that helps you find your voice, much like the little girl in the warbling seashell. As she loses her voice, the simple cure is to surround herself with others, but her father's anger and grief closes him off to the world. When you allow yourself to be so governed by the screams and actions of others, you lose your voice, your own identity. But by surrounding yourself with what the world offers, whether pleasant or challenging, you solidify who you really are and your place in the world. I had to do it as a referee and a creator. No matter the noise, on the field or online, closing myself off would mean losing who I truly am. Keeping my voice isn't about being louder than the noise. It's about refusing to let the noise define me. As a referee, I can still speak calmly even when the stadium roars. As a creator, I can still share my truth whether people cheer or criticize. My voice doesn't come from anyone's approval, it comes from staying open. But living open is not easy, and it's fear of judgment, failure, rage, and so much more that causes us to close ourselves off. Mushishi shows this when a boy is constantly in a snowstorm, yet feels no cold. The warmth of a fire makes him feel like he is burning. It teaches us that grief and fear may feel like truth, but really, they are just illusions. All of my fears of each soccer game never came true. I created them, dwelled on them, and carried them, completely ignoring the warmth of a great game, a beautiful day, and a community coming together. That's the trap of fear. It convinces you it will last forever. But like the boy in the snow, I was fooled by an illusion. Fear is just weather. It passes when you stop clinging to it. And beneath the melting snow, life is always waiting. Love, community, and the quiet warmth we forget was there all along. I thought all of these storms were forever. Every game, every season was going to be like this. But life doesn't give you clarity right away, much like how Mushishi gives a somewhat ambiguous episode of a woman who brings rain with her to each village she travels. Some view her as a gift, others as a plague. As she struggles with her new reality, Ginkgo simply tells her that the mushi is weakening and one day it will pass. She just needs to trust the process. It is a very unsatisfying ending, and that's what makes it so poetic. It's real. Sometimes we just need to endure and trust that these storms will pass. All we have to do is open ourselves up to whatever it brings. This is something I constantly work on. I'm not numb to fans screaming or calling a bad game. I still feel fear, anxiety, and sadness, but now I trust that they will pass and don't dwell on it. Why do we cling to storms when they never stay? But just as storms fade away, so does beauty. That's not bad, that's balance. In the episode Thread of Light, a boy's mother sees the beautiful glow of the world because of the new love she has for her baby boy. She is able to take that glow and spin it into a robe of light, but she clings too tightly to that beauty and nearly destroys her family. Ginkgo reminds her that even beauty fades, and you must let go of it as well. I feel tremendous love in my life from my daughter, my family, dear friends, and the nature around me, but I can't force that feeling all the time. When I heard the crickets chirping, I realized how both peace and chaos can coexist in the same moment. It isn't about trying to hold on to either, but simply just observe and enjoy it. I've been reading this lesson in a very similar story by Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment, and he opens with a powerful concept that we often forget. He reminds us that our planets stay in orbit, rain keeps the grass green, and a single cell can turn into a human being. The world is doing a great job without me trying to control it. Much like how the mushi merely exist, showing us mirages, bird songs, and beautiful glows in the distance. We can't force the storms to stop. We can't cling to beauty forever. I will never control every outcome of a soccer game, videos I make, or how my daughter's life will unfold. The secret is not resisting, not obsession, but openness. If Mushishi teaches one lesson throughout its tales, it is to never close to the world around us. I don't remember the score of that game. I don't remember what anyone actually said to me. I just remember the sky, the breeze, and the crickets. Mushishi taught me what the crickets already had that night. You don't need to silence the storm. You just need to listen for what's always been there. Flowing with chaos is no simple task, but opening yourself up to it can change your life. And even Godzilla, a symbol of pure chaos, has something to teach us about that. And to hear more about that, you could check out this video right here.